Okay, let's get this started. All right, so we got to work with what we got. I'm on my phone now. I hope you guys can hear me. So let's talk about this. It's a very important issue. It's very timely because today the CDC came out, said there's going to be a nationwide moratorium on evictions. If you make under 99,000 as a single person, under 198,000 jointly, basically evictions are not going to move forward across the country, which is crazy to even think that the CDC could do that. But we haven't really got much guidance from that. What we do have guidance on is the moratorium in Florida. DeSantis has extended the moratorium. It's important to know that evictions still are going to be filed and can be filed by landlords. It's just they cannot execute on the eviction. Also, it's putting on the defendant to file what's called a motion to determine rent. If you don't file a motion to determine rent, the landlord can say that you have not been negatively impacted by COVID to the judge, and the judge still can move forward with eviction. So if you receive an eviction, make sure that you speak to an attorney, you respond. Yes, we got it fixed. We got sound now. I guess I sounded like Mickey Mouse earlier, and you couldn't make out what I was saying. So I'm glad we can get this information to you. But going back to the moratorium, it's really, really important to not think that you're safe from eviction. And if you get an eviction, make sure you respond to it, speak to an attorney, get something in. Okay, we got some questions now. Great. Will homeowners be required to pay back deferred funds in a lump sum? Yes, actually, that the requirement is that any deferment that you get on your mortgage or any deferment that you get as far as rent, you will be required to pay that at the end. Now, some banks are opening up different loan modifications. They're putting it on the back end. But once again, do not rely on that. So you got to try to save up as much money as you can. You have to be active when you're dealing with your landlord or your mortgage company as far as negotiating something, because what I'm worried about long term is when these moratoriums run out, we're just going to see a wave of evictions and a wave of foreclosures. I spoke with some of my friends that are in the foreclosure industry on the other side, and they say they're gearing up for an early 2021 March wave of foreclosures. Next question is, I have a reverse mortgage. How does bankruptcy impact that? So with reverse mortgages, generally speaking, if you're good with your reverse mortgage, it will not be negatively impacted. If you have defaulted on some terms of the reverse mortgage, like you didn't pay insurance, you didn't pay your taxes, there are bankruptcies like Chapter 13 that will allow you to get caught up on those and so that you don't get foreclosed on. Lola, what does a loan modification actually mean, and what can you expect? So loan modification is really a negotiation with your lender to say if you fell behind and getting caught up on those payments. So for many people, they haven't paid their mortgage in 3 to 6 months because of COVID. You go to the bank and you say, hey, I wasn't able to make payments, but I got my job back now. Can we lower the interest rate? Can we extend the term of the loan so that I can make up those payments? So that loan modification is a term of art, but it's really a negotiation with the bank. And they try to structure it in a certain way where they can handle a volume of defaults and get those fixed. Jonathan, I'm behind several months on HOA payments. Can they take my home? Yes, actually, associations still can foreclose. So if you fall behind on association payments, once again, you want to negotiate with them. It's not really a loan modification because they're not giving you a loan, but you do want to negotiate with them so that you can continue to make payments and work something out. Once again, your backup plan would be a Chapter 13 reorganization where you can stretch out the payments to the association. But if that's your only debt that you're dealing with, I recommend working it outside of bankruptcy before you rush into bankruptcy, because there's admin costs and other costs with regards to a Chapter 13. I have some other questions that were emailed into me. What happens if you're unable to pay HOA and special assessments but able to pay the mortgage from Demetra? Demetra, once again, The special assessments and HOA, if you're unable to pay it, you should try to negotiate directly with your association because they are able to foreclose. And usually there's clauses in there where they can add attorney's fees, they can add more fees onto that, and that balance can grow. So litigating with the association usually isn't the best bet. Leanne, if the HOA already scheduled your foreclosure for December, will it be postponed to 2021? That's not guaranteed. You should definitely file something in the court to cancel that. Now, if it's a court date or versus a sale date, we need to know what you're going to court for. If it's the trial, it may move forward. If it's the sale, it may get canceled. Either way, don't rely on any of these moratoriums to just automatically cancel things for you. You need to go in and you need to be active with this. Your investment property is suffering due to renters moving out. What can I do? So if you have renters moving out or not paying because of the moratorium, I'd recommend working with the renters that you have, seeing if you can get some sort of payments in. If you're unable to, you go to your mortgage company, see if you can negotiate directly with them. And then worst case scenario, once again, we have bankruptcy options, Chapter 13 versus Chapter 11, where you can lower your monthly payments and extend terms. Also, there's a lot of money out there. Broward County just, and I'll share this link, Broward County just said they have millions of dollars to help tenants with their payments. You have to fill out an application. The window is right now through September 5th. So if you're in Broward County, go to the county website and look up the help for renters. Like I said, there's millions of dollars available, and that money is going to run out because there's so many people that are struggling right now. So make sure that you apply. You have to give certifications that you've been negatively impacted by COVID, but there's so many people in the restaurant industry, the service industry, that obviously have been negatively impacted by this. So make sure that you're getting the help that you can. The good thing about the Broward money too, you're actually paying and getting caught up on rent, because when this moratorium's over, the moratorium doesn't forgive any of the rent that's owed. You'll still owe the money. So unfortunately, many people are going to have judgments against them from their landlords, or they'll have to get caught up, and we'll have to clear out or negotiate those judgments or look at filing bankruptcy. So Brianna asks, how can a bankruptcy allow me to save my home? As we discussed in the Chapter 13, it will allow you to make payments. You can also try to modify the mortgage while in bankruptcy. Yes, Lydia, you can certainly do that. There's a process called the MMM, Mortgage Modification Mediation, that will allow you to mediate with the bank and work things out. Lexi, what are the options for walking away from the home? So there's multiple options if you just can't afford your home, and this is with regarding a mortgage. There's many different options. You can do a deed in lieu of foreclosure, where you work with the bank and you say, hey, I can't live here anymore, I can't afford it, I'm just going to give you the property. You can also do a short sale, which you hire a realtor and they sell it for less than what is owed on the mortgage. You can try to extend the foreclosure and delay it so that you can save up some money to find another property. With any of these options, make sure that you're avoiding what's called a deficiency judgment. I have clients that are still dealing with deficiency judgments from 10, 15 years ago. So make sure whatever you do, don't just walk away and think you're clear. Pay attention to what's going on and try to negotiate that. Susan, if a landlord doesn't have to pay their mortgage because of HUD moratorium, does a tenant have to pay rent? Yes, tenants have to pay the rent. Remember, everything going on with the moratorium isn't forgiving rent. It's delaying rent. It's not allowing landlords to kick people out of their home. You're still contractually obligated to pay rent. Whenever the moratorium's over, you're going to owe that money. So be careful with that. Johanna, you have a balance owed to the association. Is a settlement possible? From my experience, associations are really, really difficult to deal with. But hopefully in these times, they're a little more understanding. So yes, settlement is possible. With the threat of a Chapter 13, that makes it even more possible, because they don't want to be they don't want the back payments dragged out over a 5-year period, and it really doesn't make sense. So definitely deal with the associations. Hopefully the associations have enough reserve to keep that going, to keep everything going within the association while you're getting back on your feet. So couple other things that we want to discuss. Pay attention to what's happening with the CDC guidelines. That's going to come out. There's a second stimulus supposedly coming on its way, so keep track of that as well. If you have any questions, or if you ever get served with a lawsuit or anything like that, make sure that you meet with an attorney. Timing is critical for these issues. So if you blow deadlines, if you don't get responses in, they still can move forward with evictions. They can get judgments, and these could be really long-term effect with you. So do you have any other questions? I have a couple more questions that have been emailed in. One from Irvin. If evicted, how long would you have to find another place to live? Evictions, generally speaking, can be very quick. Summary evictions can be done within a week or two, and you can have the sheriff there. So you want to make sure that if you're falling behind on your rent, make sure you're proactive, save up money, have a backup plan, because these evictions, when they come, they're going to come quickly. Hopefully you can get that money from the county or the city. Look for any program out there that can help you out. Julia, your first mortgage is current, second mortgage is causing problems. Any suggestions? So keep the first mortgage current. The second mortgage, you can negotiate a loan modification. If there's no equity above the first mortgage, you can actually strip the second mortgage through a Chapter 13. So that's a good way to go as well. Leanne, to postpone court date, let's see here. My HOA, who now? All right, Leanne, so you really should give us a call. I'll do a free consultation with you, because I want to make sure that we review exactly what's going on in your case. So send me an email at chat@cvhlawgroup.com, or give the office a call to set up a time to talk. We got another question. My family is willing to pay back the rent owed. How can I fight the eviction? Well, actually, if you put the money into the court registry, that'll stop the eviction altogether. Hopefully the landlord would just work with you in that situation where they wouldn't move forward with the eviction. But once again, that comes down to a negotiation. Worst case scenario, go to court, tell the judge, hey, I put the money into the registry, my family stepped up. That should end the eviction. Also remember that the eviction process can still move forward if your lease ends within this as well. So if you're a holdover tenant, make sure that you're finding another place, because this moratorium is only for people that are unable to pay due to COVID. If your lease is up, your lease is up, and there's really no defenses that you're going to have. They're not required to keep you in as a holdover tenant. So I threw a lot of information out there. If you have any questions, I put contact information there. Feel free to set a free consultation with me. I'm trying to do these once every other week to put a ton of information out there that'll help people. We're all struggling. We're all trying to get through this together as a community. If there's anything I can do to help you, just reach out. I appreciate you bearing with me through the technical issues that we've had, and hopefully you can hear me fine. Once again, go give us a call at 954-637-0000 to set up a consultation, or go to chadvh.com. We'll do another one of these in a couple weeks. If you have any questions, you can email them through Facebook. One last question I got, is there a statute of limitations for a mortgage foreclosure? That's actually a tricky question. There used to be, at least we thought. Now the Florida Supreme Court has spoken, and they said that the statute of limitations is from the end of the contract. So if you have a 30-year mortgage, it would be 30 years plus the 5 years, as it's an installment contract. So every new installment payment is a new default. You can get rid of some of the old debt, but as far as just wiping out a mortgage, even though you've been in the process for 9 years, they still can come back and try to foreclose again. So I really hope this was helpful. I hope you guys like it. Please give me feedback. Let me know what I can do better. Every time I do this, I want to do a little bit better, but stay safe out there. If you need anything from me, feel free to reach out. Thanks again, guys.